When we think of the Lord's Supper, the last time that he was with his disciples, it was such an amazing thing that was about to happen. What was about to happen was the very purpose of Jesus' life, why he had come to earth in the first place, was about to be unfolded before his very eyes and the eyes of his disciples, the eyes of his family, the eyes of his friends, and the eyes of his foes. What he had talked about to his disciples on 5 recorded times in the Bible was that he would die, he would be buried, and he would rise again. He would die for our sins, he would be buried to show that he was dead, and then he would rise again to prove that he had conquered sin and death. This was very clearly spoken. He referred to Psalm 109 about the betrayer who would come. He was very clear on the things that would happen. He would be despised, he would be rejected, he would die. All these amazing statements that he was making to them at that time. But I want us to think about one particular thing, and that is that what Jesus came to do, he finished. After he had told them these amazing things, kind of wrapping up 3.5 years of teaching, he went to the garden. And in the garden, a temptation came his way. His disciples slept, his father did not answer, and yet Jesus went ahead and did what he was called to do. Jesus said, "I have come to finish the work that my Father has given me." He was going to finish it, no matter what happened in between. On that particular day, it would be Passover. In the temple, the high priest would take the lamb, would slay the lamb by the shedding of its blood. And then the high priest would go out to where the crowds of people were assembled in front of the temple. And the high priest would say with 1 word in their language and 3 words in our language, he would say the word tetelestai. What that means to us is, it is finished. He would stretch out his arms wide and he would call out loud to the people, tetelestai. They knew exactly what that meant. It is finished. The sins of those people individually and the nation for the whole year had now been paid for. But to the average person in that crowd, that word meant other things to them. If they were an artist, that word was used to mean, my work is finished, this masterpiece I have painted is done, nothing can be added to it. If they were a worker, a laborer, they would use that word at the end of their day to say, my work is finished, I'm done for the day. And if they were an accountant, that same word to them would be used to mean the debt is paid in full, and from this time forward, all the debt is paid. So if they were an accountant or an artist or a worker or just an ordinary common person, that word meant to them, it's over, it's finished, and it's done. So when Jesus then used that word on the cross, those people knew exactly what he meant. The sins of the world had been paid for. John the Baptist said of Jesus, "Behold the man that comes to take away the sins of the world." And on that day, Jesus became the sin of the world in our place so that we might be with him forever. He finished what he started to do. He closed his hands in so many words and said, I'm done. What a wonderful thing that is to remember when we have the Lord's Supper. That God has given us things to do in life. He has given us assignments, and he expects us to finish them. At the very beginning of our assignment from God is laid the plans for the finish. We don't know what those are. We don't know what will come along the way. But God would never give us something to do that he didn't give us the power and the help to finish it. And so when we take the Lord's Supper, what we're saying is, Jesus, I remember. You finished what you started. As an example to me, I will finish what you have given me to do. Those words, it is finished, should be planted deep in our heart, that whatever God has asked us to do, he has given us the power and the help to do that. Let's remember these things next time we have the Lord's Supper.